another failed public health policy. We're going to Australia, and we reported on them quite a bit. They had what was called a zero COVID approach, which meant if anybody in any city has a case of COVID, it could be one person, they shut down the whole city. Restrictions back in. They're ending that. Australia to
Not
end zero
sustainable.
COVID
No,
policy.
really. It's not sustainable.
Not sustainable. Unbelievable. Well, maybe try for a couple more years. Maybe it'll work. Well, what's taking their place? Looking at what's taking their place, we're going to show it in a second. You got to wonder, zero COVID policy might look a little better. It's called COVID camps, and they look like this. Take a look.
Oh, man.
With our hotels at capacity and our borders under the sustained threat of Delta, tonight the Premier is taking matters into her own hands.
This is a commitment by the Wagner family, working with the Queensland Government, to say to the people of Queensland, we want to keep you safe. And the best way to keep you safe and to keep Delta out of Queensland is to build as quickly as possible a regional quarantine facility.
We're just waiting patiently to be fed. It's like when you shake the bag of the dog treats and the dogs come running. We're all just outside waiting.
What fantastic value it will be if we can avoid just one lockdown.
We need to get these facilities up and running, and everybody has seen how successful Howard Springs is.
Just had the cops come around and tell this woman off staying over here because there was about 5 seconds in between her taking a sip of her cup of tea and she took her face mask down. Cops came around literally on the dot and just pulled her up for it, and she said, well, I'm drinking my tea, and they said, well, not right now, you're not put your face mask on.
They want their community kept safe. That's what they're saying to me, and we are delivering it.
It's a bit intense.
It's amazing as I watch that. I think of many thoughts like Road Warrior, Mad Max. I also think of the fact that we always, grew up thinking that Australia was like this prison colony for the UK, right? And now it appears that they're going to return to prison-style, tactics. And this is really disturbing images. And the idea that any modern human being thinks that this is a solution, it's astounding. For those of you out there in Australia that are watching right now, if they're still letting you use your internet, just our hearts are with you, our prayers are with you. Your nation has gone absolutely crazy.
We're really turning a new page here, just covering this. And, when the premier there in the video said, the best way to keep you safe is, I was really open to hear early therapeutics,
Right.
sheltering the most vulnerable.
Vitamin D.
Not so much. Build a camp.
Exercise. Lose some weight.
Right. Vitamin D, sunshine. So this camp is being built, I should say, right near Wellcamp Airport. So you're going to have a facility there. There's the Headline Regional COVID-19 facility. This is one the premier was talking about in that video, to be built near Wellcamp Airport in Queensland. Now, this is an image of Howard Springs. She mentioned Howard Springs. This is the one that's been in operation already, where that video is from, with the gentleman talking about the woman in the mask. This is a former mining camp, which was repurposed, or I guess the buzzword would be built back better to be a concentration. I'm sorry, Freudian slip, a quarantine camp. So that's in their Northern Territory. So now going on the Australian government's website for the Northern Territory, this is what it has to say about that camp when you go there. This is a mandatory supervised camp quarantine fee. The quarantine fee for an individual is $2,500 for the full 14-day period. A family rate of $5,000 applies for family groups of 2 or more people in a shared accommodation. People in mandatory supervised quarantine will also be subject to testing before exiting quarantine. If you refuse a test, there will be 10 days added to your quarantine time. If you are required to undertake an additional 10 days of quarantine, a further fee will be charged of $1,750 for an individual or $3,500 for a family.
Man,
so think about that. You're going on vacation with the kids.
This place better have a water park. I mean, those are some steep. That's like right up there with the JW Marriott. Holy cow!
Right. And you gotta wonder what tests are they using, because can we discuss false positives here? I mean, am I paying $3,500 extra for another 10 days or 20 days for some revolving false positive tests that I'm getting, even though I feel better. Now, that's not the only one. These are going up everywhere. Melbourne facility. There's one in Melbourne that's going up. It was announced, approved as Commonwealth. Victoria agree on the site. Now, not every area in Australia is going with the quarantine camp route. So there's also a pilot program about home quarantine. It's a trial that's happening right now. This is just as important and just as creepy. How will South Australia's home quarantine trial work? So they talked to the premier there, and he says in this article, the premier said it was, quote, implausible to continue to use Medi hotels. They're basically just using repurposed hotels for international arrivals as borders began to reopen. He says, in the past, where we have had this option for people coming from interstate and in the early days from overseas, it required a very heavy police presence to go and check on them. I think every South Australian should feel pretty proud that we are the national pilot for the home-based quarantine app. Well, what is the home-based quarantine app? We go to the Atlantic of all news outlets. The Atlantic is pretty, they do seem to love reporting on democracy killing events, but they're actually reporting on some balance here. It says Australia traded away too much liberty. How long can a byline? How long can a democracy maintain emergency restrictions? And it says here about that app, returning travelers quarantining at home will be forced to download an app that combines facial recognition and geolocation. The state will text them at random times, and thereafter they will have 15 minutes to take a picture of their face in the location where they are supposed to be. It goes on to say, should they fail, the local police department will be sent to follow up in person. We don't tell them how often or when. On a random basis, they have to reply within 15 minutes. This is beyond Orwellian, beyond dystopian, and I can't believe I'm reading this, to be quite honest with you, reporting on this right now.
Look how convenient that is. I mean, I just think, why not have that app for everybody? Police just call you wherever you just got to report where you are, show your face where you are. They can see that's where they are. Why not do that for every citizen in the world? It seems like that's the goal, right? I mean, this is all just testing out. And I have had friends that say, Del, I don't understand what your problem is. Why do you care what the police think, or face recognition software? I don't know, because I believe in freedom. I believe in privacy, and that means privacy from my government, privacy from the police department. Should be allowed to live freely. I mean, this is crazy. And yet all of this and all these technology companies, we've talked about this, right? This is Silicon Valley. This is that AI. This is that, journey towards transhumanism that's taking place, which has got you got to start wondering, does any of this have anything to do with health, or is it about a bigger issue of control? And I mean serious control over our lives. If you like that clip, then be sure to check out our live broadcast of The High Wire every Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Pacific Time. You can watch it on iTunes and Twitter. We'll see you there.